Do you feel like you need to leave yourself behind just to keep the peace with everyone else? We tend to abandon ourselves in small ways every day. It may be unnoticeable, maybe quite subtle. It's in choosing peace, other people's peace, over speaking our own truth. It's in choosing to fit in with people we may not even like just because it's what we've been used to. It's our way to survive. It's the constant choice of survival over desire. What we desire and what we need comes last, and we choose to show up as a version of ourselves we're not really, just so we can fit in, so we can be accepted. And for a while, this strategy works. It works. We hang out with people we don't really like anyway. We keep the peace, even though we are not at peace anyway. And at some point, we can't keep up this charade, and we fill up with resentment. We fill up with anger, with rage, and this whole image starts to fall apart. This entire life we've built around this starts to crumble. Let's talk about this today. Let's talk about why we abandon ourselves. I say this, and as I say it, my body is kind of shrinking a little bit, because I think if the whole world is abandoning me, if the whole world is turning its back on me, I need to be my own greatest ally. I need to be my own best friend. I need to be able to choose myself again and again, no matter what happens. So as I say that, and as I remember the part of me that did that, my body kind of reacts a little bit. So let's talk about the damage this leaves behind when we constantly betray ourselves this way and choose intentionally, consciously to come back to ourselves, to choose ourselves, to stop betraying ourselves in small ways and big ways, in all ways. Now, why do we actually abandon ourselves? We don't just wake up one day and decide, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna go and betray myself in every way I see fit. It doesn't happen this way. It's something we've learned. It's something that has been planted into us from a very young age, and we've grown with it. We've learned to live with it. We've learned to internalize it, because it meant that we can survive this way. We have learned that this is the only way to survive in the world. So don't worry, just like we learn it, we can unlearn it. So right now, let's talk about why we actually get to this point. We abandon ourselves because of fear of rejection. It's a crippling fear, really. We tend to think that if people saw us, we are rejected, we are cast aside, and so to fit in, we need to play this game. We abandon ourselves because it's been our conditioning ever since we were children. From childhood, how many of us have been praised for being the good girl, the good boy, the good whatever? It's this whole idea that we need to be good. What does that even mean? To be polite, to be nice, to be agreeable. And so we learn to silence ourselves entirely so that we can earn love. We abandon ourselves because we avoid conflict. It's easier to just say yes, to shrink, to agree. It's easier to do this than to rock the boat, than to say something and having to confront someone about it. It's easier to just stay quiet. We think by being quiet, we are maintaining the peace, but our own peace is gone in the process. We abandon ourselves because of low self-worth. We don't think we deserve to be heard, to be seen, to take up space in the world. And somewhere along the way, we started to feel completely convinced that our needs don't matter, our desires don't matter, so might as well just shut up, suck it up, and get on with our lives. Put everyone else first, and it doesn't matter if we don't even come last. It doesn't matter. We abandon ourselves because of survival. We've learned that this was the only way to survive. For so many of us, we learned to do this as a form of protection. Kept us safe. We are not speaking much. We are not sharing much. We are not visible much. People don't know much about us. We are not, creating problems in the world. And so we don't get seen. We don't get criticized. We don't get rejected. We are safe. It's protecting us. The sad reality is, when it has protected us for a while, we've come to the point now where it has imprisoned us in this pattern. And now it's time to break free. So how do you know that you have been abandoning yourself? Here are some signs. When you say yes and you're like, oh, fuck no. But then you say yes with a smile. This is a big one. If you have found yourself doing this, anybody who has been stuck with this pattern, we've all done it. Another sign is that you downplay your feelings. You laugh them off. You try and shield other people from the pain of their actions by downplaying your own emotions and your own feelings and your own pain. You may tend to bend over backwards to please people, to make sure everyone is satisfied. But nobody's asking you, and nobody is worrying or caring about you or whether or not you are satisfied, if you are okay with this. If you tend to feel resentful or invisible or neglected in relationships, that may be a sign that you have been abandoning yourself. Maybe you haven't been voicing your needs. Maybe you have, but they're not being met and you're still stuck in that cycle, so you're kind of feeling resentful as a result. One other pattern is that you may be living according to everyone else's expectations, but not your own. You're prioritizing what other people think you should do with your life, and you go do that instead of listening to your own desires and your own needs and doing that instead. You may be polling people all the time about what you should do with your life because you don't trust that you have what it takes to decide for yourself. The longer we abandon ourselves, the further we drift. And the harder it may be to come back the moment we realize we've been doing this and not make a conscious decision to change it. We lose intimacy with ourselves and by extension with others, because we cannot meet people where we haven't met ourselves yet. We carry exhaustion, we carry anxiety, constant resentment until something changes. And it's a very quiet kind of resentment that kind of simmers until it erupts. It might even cost us the relationships and the friendships and the things we care about because we're so disconnected from ourselves. And we are functioning from a place that doesn't align. We're functioning from a place of pure survival that we don't get to cherish what we already have. And most of all, this costs us trust in ourselves. We lose trust in ourselves. Because how do we trust someone who keeps leaving? When we continue to abandon, we continue to prove to ourselves that we are not trustworthy. I will keep abandoning myself, and I will have no chance of trusting myself after all. Because how can I? Now, the way back may not be quick and it may not be smooth sailing, but once you start, once you've consciously chosen to show up for yourself, to choose yourself, to honor yourself, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. This change is created with the small things, with the small actions, the small steps that you continue to take. And that trust in yourself is restored with these little things. One thing at a time. You create proof for yourself. Every day you have evidence that you can depend on yourself, that you can trust yourself, that you're showing up for yourself, that you say what you mean. And all of this kind of builds up and it takes you where you need to go. So here are some ways you can start doing that. One, begin by being aware. The next time you find yourself about to override yourself, about to say something, about to say yes to something that you don't want to, just pause, take a breath and notice. Just notice, be aware that this is happening right now. 2, change the inner dialogue. If you have already said yes to it too soon, just notice what you say to yourself right after. If you tend to shame yourself, if you tend to call yourself out, remind yourself that you are unlearning this pattern. It will take some time, but you're aware now. You can make a conscious decision next time. I can do better next time. And if you haven't said yes to something, just ask for some time. Can I get back to you on that? Can we talk about it some other time? Give yourself that buffer. So depending on what happens when you've become aware of the situation. The third thing is that you want to set boundaries, you want to enforce boundaries, and if that's not working, you need to find the grace and the courage to walk away entirely. With boundaries, we tend to set them and talk about them again, and people walk all over us, and then we talk about them again, and then we give ultimatums that we don't follow through with, and it's this constant cycle. You're setting boundaries so that people know where you're at, and so that you know where people are at. And by doing this, you're inviting someone to step into your space with love, with respect, the way you want them to. If someone is not able to respect that, you enforce the boundary however you see fit, and then if that's not working, then you can rethink the whole dynamic. 4, reclaim your desires. Reclaim your desires. What do you want? What do you truly desire? What do you wish? You can just say, you know what? I want this. I desire this. Can you say it out loud? Can you say it to yourself in the mirror? Can you write it down? Do you know what you desire? Do you ask yourself that? Would you ask yourself that? Even if you're not going to act on it yet, even if you're not going to say it to anyone yet, even if it's not going to come to fruition yet, just acknowledge it, just say it. Give it a place to live in your life. Give it room to live and breathe. 5, build self-trust. Build trust with yourself with the small actions you take every day. In your to-do list, write down one thing you'll do, write it down, and make sure you'll do it and actually do it. Go check it off and give yourself proof. Give yourself proof that you can depend on yourself. You can trust yourself. You deliver. You keep your word to yourself. You keep your own promises. This can have a beautiful, positive impact on your well-being and on the way you trust yourself and the way you show up in the world. You know that when you say something, you act on it. You keep your word. And so when you do this, your whole energy is speaking this language. Once you show up like this, you'll find that more and more people do this without you even asking. Finally, choose your circle. Choose to surround yourself with people who understand you, people with whom you can set healthy boundaries. The ones when you set a boundary with, they don't consider it as a sign of disrespect or they get defensive or call you out. The people who will meet you where you are, the people who will grow with you, the people who will enrich your life. So put yourself in the right place to meet them and have the courage to show who you are so that your people will find you, so that your people will see you too. Now, as the conversation today draws to a close, I want to remind you that you may have needed to abandon yourself for a very long time in order to survive. But that doesn't have to be the case anymore. You can choose to change this now. And more people are choosing to do this now. You are not on this journey alone. And you no longer need to carry this weight. The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for the relationships you have with others. And the way you treat yourself sets the tone for the way others treat you. When you choose to stay with yourself, when you choose yourself, other people learn to do that too. And you don't need proof that people will not abandon you, people will not reject you. You just need proof from yourself to yourself that you're not doing that. So you want to be able to start with yourself. Start to prove to yourself you're gonna stop waiting for the external validation. So whether people come or go, it won't matter. As long as you are not ditching yourself, you are not flaking on yourself, you are not bailing on yourself. As long as you are not doing that, you're gonna be okay. So go ahead, embrace that, reclaim that, get your power back. Reclaim the parts of yourself that you have desired to call home for so long because they want to come back to. The moment you invite that back, the moment you reclaim that, you will start to live much more fiercely, much more authentically, and you will always be able to depend on yourself. Now let me know in the comments if you feel like it, if you're called to it, where in your life have you been abandoning yourself? And what would you like to come back to? What would you like to reclaim now? What would it feel like to finally come back to yourself? And until next time, lots of love.